What's up, guys? Welcome back to a Living Mad channel, where I talk to you about how I'm living my American dream. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite ways to make passive income. This is something that I started doing 19 years ago. First few years, totally failed. I was making negative money, meaning I was actually losing money. Once I started actually learning how the whole process works, completely changed my world around. So you saw the title, $275,000 passive income in 3 years. Before I get into exactly how I did that, I want to explain to you 4 ways that real estate makes you money. Now I'm going to link a video up here where I go a little bit more into detail. So if I'm going a little too fast in this portion, go ahead and watch that video and you can learn a little bit more. So again, 4 ways to make money or to make passive income with a rental property, with real estate. The first one is cash flow. All that means is money you make every single month after all expenses are paid, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, that's PITI. Capital expenditures, which is big things you need to fix, like a roof, foundation, things like that. Small CapEx, so those are small repairs that you have to make. Vacancies, you have to save money every month, just in case you have a vacancy. Paying a property manager, even if you don't have a property manager, you should set some money aside just in case you end up needing one. Plus, you're kind of paying yourself for that. So once you've got all that set aside and paid for, whatever money's left over, that's cash flow. Depending on the market that you're in, whether it's San Diego, New York, Midwest, cash flow is going to vary. In high cash flow areas like the Midwest is big on that. If you're getting $150, $200 per door, that's considered pretty decent. Obviously, that depends if it's a duplex, 2 properties, or an apartment complex. That's going to be different. But for small properties, $200 per door is a good cash flow. Another one is appreciation. Again, it's going to vary greatly depending on what part of the country you're in. In San Diego, appreciation for the last 50 years has averaged right around 3.5% per year. Nationally, appreciation has averaged about 2% per year. But that's the value of your property going up each and every single year. Now there are years where values go down. If you go back and look at 2008 to 2010, property values were dropping like crazy. If you had a $500,000 house at the end of 2007, a year later it was worth $250,000, maybe $300,000. So that happens. But one thing you got to understand about real estate is that over the long term it keeps going up because property values keep up with inflation. Sometimes edge it out just a little bit in some years, but for the most part, it's going to at least keep up with inflation. So that was the second one. The third one, loan pay down. What do I mean by loan pay down? If you're renting it out, somebody is paying your mortgage. And if you're making enough from the rent, not only is it paying your mortgage, but it's covering those 4 PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. But that principal, that's what it's actually paying down the balance of your loan. So every single month, a little bit of your balance is getting paid down by someone else. And the last thing is taxes. When you have a rental property, you get huge benefits in taxes. The main one being tax depreciation, I'm sorry. So when you depreciate a property, the government is giving you a tax benefit for everything that comes with being a landlord. So every time you have to do a repair on your house, the fact that things are getting older in your house and at some point you're going to have to repair them, whether it's a roof, floors, kitchen sink, all those things are being depreciated at different values. Now most of us will keep it simple and we'll just do a set standard depreciation for our house based on the value, but you can also do a cost analysis to depreciate different things at different speeds. I'm not going to get into detail about that. If you want to know more, I can find the link for you to learn about it. But I will tell you that's a little bit more advanced. That's mostly if you're doing apartment complexes and you're trying to get money back a little bit faster. For most of us, you don't need to do that. You do the standard depreciation every year and you'll be just fine. All right, so 4 things: cash flow, appreciation, loan pay down, and taxes. Those 4 will make you money on the rental property every single year. Now, it's not like every property you buy is going to do that, right? So you have to be smart about it. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. But if you buy the right property at the right price, that's the 4 ways that you're going to make some passive income. Now, with that out of the way, I want to talk to you about one property that I've had that has paid huge dividends for me in the last 3 years. Now, I will tell you, one thing I've come to learn is I'm not chasing cash flow. So that first one that I talked to you about, cash flow, I'm not chasing that. The reason being, if I'm making $200 a month on a property, say here in the Midwest, I buy a house for, let's call it $90,000. In St. Louis, you can buy a house for $90,000. 3 beds, 2 baths, rent it out for about $1,100 a month. You're gonna get some cash flow there. But if you're making $200 a month, and all of a sudden you gotta replace a roof that costs $10,000, that's gonna eat up a lot of your cash flow. 2 times 12, that's $2,400 a year, so that's about 4 years worth of cash flow gone because of one roof. So I'm not chasing cash flow. What I want to chase is wealth growth, wealth appreciation. I want to see my overall net worth going up steadily year after year. So I bought a property in San Diego, January 2016. This was a duplex, meaning 2 units. Now, 2 units might sound great, but I will tell you they were very small. 1 unit is a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. The second unit is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Both relatively small. Combined, it's around 1,150 square feet between the two. Very small property. But it's about a mile from the beach in a growing community. At the time, it was growing. It's still growing right now, but it was kind of just starting its growth. So I bought it there for $510,000. Now, again, I told you in St. Louis, you can buy right now, you can buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, probably around same size, I would say 1,200, 1,300 square feet for $90,000 with a basement. California, you're not gonna get a basement because of earthquakes. So I'm getting about same size house in San Diego for just a little over 5 times the price. And this was in January 2016. Now, that is not gonna cash flow. When I bought it, it was not cash flowing at all. Even now, 5, 6 years later, it's not cash flowing at all. Follow me and you'll understand what I'm saying here and why I'm following this path. So negative cash flow for 6 years. I refinanced in late 2016. I was able to lower the interest rate. The bad part about refinancing more often than not, and I say more often than not because it's not always the case, but more often than not when you refinance, there's going to be some fees associated with that. So I don't remember the exact numbers, but I bought it for $510 in January. I refinanced, I think it was somewhere around September of that year. And because of the fees associated with the refinance, my loan balance pretty much went back to what it was in January. So it was almost like I hadn't paid anything for 9, 10 months, and I was back to square one. However, the reason I decided to do it is because as I worked out the math for 30 years, if I held on to it for 30 years, doing the pay down and all that stuff, I would end up saving thousands, and I mean tens of thousands of dollars in interest because my interest rate was so much lower. So it made sense. I was renting it out. At the beginning, I was really living in 1 unit, renting out the other through Airbnb. And with the Airbnb, I was living rent-free, so that was actually saving me a lot of money living in California, a mile from the beach, living rent-free. That was huge. But that's a story for another day. Matter of fact, if you want to know a little bit more about that, I'll link another video over here that I talked about how I lived rent-free in San Diego, and you can learn a little bit more about that. But so I refinanced in 2016. We know COVID happened in 2020. Because of that, there was a lot of stimulus packages and things that were going on that the government was putting out to try to help those of us that are not ultra wealthy. And so one of the things that they did is lower interest rates. As soon as they started lowering interest rates in actually it was last year, 2021, I refinanced that property again. Now, I refinanced a little bit too early because rates kept going down even more. Regardless, I refinanced, dropped my payment down even further. So when I first bought the property in January 2016, my payments were right around $3,350, if I remember correctly, $3,330, $3,350. When I refinanced later that year, it dropped down to just over $3,000. I think it was right around $3,100 or so. When I refinanced last year, it dropped to $2,650. So now think about it. I started at $3,300, now a little over $3,300. Now I'm paying $2,650. That's almost a $700 per month difference in payments. Now again, when I refinanced, there were fees associated with that. So it brought my loan balance up just a little bit. I think the fees were somewhere around $8,000-9,000. So a considerable amount. But again, when I do the math over 30 years, it totally made sense to refinance because I plan on keeping this property for a long time. So in the long run, I'll end up saving some money. And in the short run, right now, rents have gone up, but my payment has gone down. So now the difference between how much I need to pay every month to the bank versus how much I'm charging my tenants, that gap is getting a little bit bigger. So at some point, I might start getting some positive cash flow. All right, so now let's talk what's going on today. As of today, February 2022, the loan balance is right around $486,000. So again, I bought it for $510 almost 6 years ago, or actually 6 years ago. And you would think from $510 to $486, that's $24,000 paid in 6 years. Not a whole lot of money, right? But like I said, I've refinanced twice, and that has cost me some fees that have eaten into the loan pay down. So it would seem bad, but here's the catch. Not really a catch, but here's the great thing that's happened. Appreciation in San Diego, like I said, averages about 3.5% per year. So that's been going up. But then because of COVID, the market has been doing some crazy things. People have a lot of excess cash. A lot of people didn't have to pay their property or make their mortgage payments for a long time. Interest rates have dropped a lot, so more people are buying houses. So long story short, the real estate market has gotten ultra hot over the last year, just a little over a year. Because of that, the property value for this duplex has skyrocketed. Now it was already starting to go up a little bit more than usual, but this past year has gone through the roof. So let me give you some quick numbers of what I mean. When I left California in 2019, it was around springtime of 2019, the property was valued at right around $550, maybe $560. I don't remember exactly how much, but it was right around there. So it had gone up about 50 grand or so since I purchased it, not too much, in 3 years. But from 2019 to now, it's gone from 550, 560 to right now it's appraised at about $827,000. 830 grand. So this is why I say 275 passive income in 3 years. Yes, I've had to talk to my property manager a couple times. I've had to do some repairs here and there, change a couple windows, replace the floor in the kitchen. What else? I've done some yard work, little things that I've had to do. And really, it's not me doing it, things that I pay for. My property manager handles it all. Got a phenomenal property manager, has found me great tenants, and does a great job. So really, it's just me responding to an email. Yes, I approve this work order. Please go find somebody else. This one's too expensive, blah, blah. It takes at most maybe 30 minutes each month just to talk about whatever's going on. So that's really all I've done. 30 minutes at most, and it's really not even every month, but 30 minutes at most every month for the past 3 years, and the property value just keeps going up and up and up. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when we think income, we think this is money in our pockets each and every day or each and every week, every paycheck, right? I want you guys to break away from that. I want you all to start thinking about net worth. The reason I say that is because net worth is what's going to get you to retirement or get you through retirement. You're not going to be able to retire comfortably unless you've accumulated a considerable amount of net worth. You can have passive income. So some people will say, okay, I want to have 100 single family homes, each one providing me $200 a month. And that passive income can help you in retirement. But that's going to take a long time to build versus having a small business or having a couple properties in the right cities, things like that. But if you have the right amount of net worth, that net worth will give you the passive income that you need. You don't have to worry about having properties or having businesses or running any of that. If you have considerable net worth, you can take it all, put it in a very simple index fund, maybe something that tracks the S&P 500, tracks the total market fund, tracks small cap funds. You choose what index fund you think is right for you. But if you have, say, $1 million in one of these index funds, estimating about 8 to 10% interest per year, and I'm estimating based on historical data of the S&P 500, you're going to be able to draw 4% of that for life, well, not for life, for approximately 30 years without running out of money. So if you retire, say, at 65, that's going to last you till you're 95. If you retire at 50, that's going to last you till you're 80. And you're probably going to figure out some other things along the way that's going to make you some other cash to help supplement it even further if you live to be 100 or so. In any case, you're going to have a lot of money to last you a long time. So this is why I want you to start thinking about net worth. Because when I say 275 passive income, some people might think that's money coming into my paycheck every single day. And it's not. It's the value of my property going up each month, year after year after year. Now, when I sell it, sure, that money comes to me. For now, I don't need it. I'm still an active duty Marine. I get a steady paycheck every 2 weeks. I live well below my means, so I don't need to pull money from these assets that I have. On the contrary, because I don't pull that money, they just keep growing and compounding onto themselves, especially when we talk about stocks and index funds and things like that, which I'll talk about in another video. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this video too long, but I want you to start understanding the value and potential that real estate can offer. Like I said, I started this way back in 2002, 20 years ago. Didn't really know what I was doing then. Once I figured it out, it made a huge difference in my life. And if I'd known then what I know now, I would have been accumulating properties in the right market, at the right price, with the right property managers a long time ago. And I would be so much further ahead than where I am now. Now, I also don't want you to think that it's all about money, right? When we talk about the American dream, it's not all about money. But you need a certain level to support yourself and your family. What that level is, that's up to you. I can't tell you. Maybe it's $60,000, maybe it's $300,000. You got to figure out what that level is. If you get to that level and you make more, that's when you have the freedom to do other things, to provide a service to society, to your family, to developing nations, whatever you want to do. You have that flexibility, you have that leeway to do whatever you want with that money. It's not like you get to $300,000 and then it's like, well, I don't have to do anything more. Maybe you want to get to $1 million so you can start a nonprofit. Maybe you want to start a business. It's up to you. But you got to have that flexibility, and you can't have that flexibility until you hit that magical number. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to try to answer them. If you like what you see, hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm pushes it out. If you want to see more, subscribe so you're notified when I upload the next one. Deuces.